Work ethic is a moral statement. The key is to not work yourself to death, but to create a net positive on your existence. There's a lot to unpack here. First, I will say this is how I was raised too. Also, two things I want to talk about here. The pressure of proving your competence when you don't belong to the majority group, and your value is not dependent on your ability to produce. That's capitalism. That's not religion. And you can be pro-capitalist. I'm not even going to go into that. But the idea that you only have worth because you can produce something is at the root of why disabled people live in poverty and are treated like shit. So first, let's talk about competence stereotypes. I'll read you this section from my upcoming book. This is from the chapter on the unwritten rule of additional labor and why certain groups do more work at work than other groups. For decades, researchers have analyzed the foundations of stereotypes and consistently across studies have identified that perception of competence or incompetence is a key factor in stereotypes. People can be perceived as likable, warm, or incompetent. But a lack of perceived competence in the workplace will only get you so far. Typically, people who are perceived as warm but incompetent are shut out from higher level positions. They are seen as a good fit for low level positions that require social skills such as customer service. However, they are not welcome in advanced positions due to the perceived lack of competence, which is tremendously valued in these settings. Even if you are well liked, only perceived competence can positively predict hiring, promotion, and education. For people who are stereotyped as incompetent, they can overwork themselves trying to prove their competence or be burdened with extra grunt work since they aren't permitted to touch the high-value tasks. You know who does a lot of additional labor because of this? Poor people. They're stigmatized as being incompetent. If they were smart, they wouldn't be poor. That's a stereotype. Not what I think. Women, people of color, and disabled people. Now, let's talk about disability. This anthropologist found a 15,000-year-old femur in the 50s, and anthropologists refer to this as the birth of civilization. When did humans really become human in civilization? Because if an animal breaks their leg, there's nothing that can be done. They are left by their group. They can't hunt or fish or keep up with the group anymore. But when anthropologists identified that this tribe had been carrying around this person who had a fractured femur, who at that time could not have been repaired, who would not have been able to hunt or gather. They just cared for this other human being. We don't know from the bones, but we can assume that this person may have been really important in championing the oral history of that tribe. Maybe they taught their children. Maybe they were just great to be around. But there's absolutely value having being a human being that isn't just what you produce. That being said, I feel you. I don't want to be a drag on anyone's day or ability or time. Communities survive by everybody pitching in, but we don't all pitch in the same way.